And with my first sip, new game. Oh, this game belongs to 2021. Oh. Is this me? How long has this been going on? Why do I need to be here? When did this start? Whoa! I'm a chimp? Look at the butt. Oh. Oh my god. Hello. Hello world. Oh my goodness. This is already too much. You are a chimpanzee. Oh, hello. Hello. Oh, you're not a chimpanzee, you are a baboon. Oh, hi. Whoa. What's this? A bear. A sleeping bear? Oh. I see a thought. Pardon me, horsies. Excuse me. Oh, hello. This is my favorite spring. It's really magical. There are moments of great beauty in its little rhythms. Remember this place and remember what you are. Keep it in mind as you go beyond here. You might need to find a way back to it. Let's go to that thing. That beautiful thing over there. I see it. It calls to me. Oh. Hi 2021, you found me, finally. We've been waiting for you for such a long time. Notice my thought had the sacred geometry icon. Look out for others with this. We're here to show you what you're able to do and help you navigate everything. Everything sings. Singing is how all things communicate. Singing helps things find or avoid one another. It deepens bonds between some things and separates others. It's how things announce their existence. So, sing. Sing all day long. I want to hear what you sound like, and so does everything else. If other things hear you, they might sing back. Oh! Hello. Oh. Oh, they didn't like that. Whoa, whoa. Hello, tree. Can I sing to you? Is this my family? Are you chimps? Yeah. Hi. Hi. Hello. Yes. We are a family. Oh, I see a thing. Hey, how far back do you think chimpanzees go? You might not always feel it, but you took trillions of generations of chimpanzees getting mixed up all the way back to forever. It's incredible you made it through and finally arrived here. The other chimpanzees around here are reflections of you from back then, each with their own dreams and their own lives to live. As you meet other chimpanzees, you will sometimes feel inseparable from them, and find where you really start and end is up to you. Hi. We're on our way. As you wander around, you might sometimes feel a bit lost. That's normal, and you don't need to worry about it. Lots of things have passed through here and felt the same, but eventually everything finds what it's looking for. There you are. Over time, you might find there's no right or wrong path to take here. As you explore, you might feel that parts of you need to go their own direction, because you can't control everything at once. At least, not yet. Try letting go of a few things. Look closely and you will find what you're after. Don't get discouraged. Everything is here to help you. What are these? Oh my god, peacocks! You're off on a great adventure. I wish I could join you. Maybe one day I'll be able. I don't like the look of this grass. It's just gonna swallow me up. Hey, what do you make of all the small things around here? All the plants and little creatures. Are they here for you, or are you here for them? It's hard to imagine that everything could be here for each other, because you can only see things from a chimpanzee's perspective, just as I can only see from a rock's perspective. But if you want to, you can always see things from a little thing's point of view. Try it. Descend. Oh! I'm a little plant. Can descend. A cricket. Oh, a grasshopper. Oh, hello. Oh. I can descend more? Into what? Hello. Hi, friend. It looks like you've seen things from a little thing's point of view. Now you might be wondering what it's like to see things from the other way around. To see things from bigger things' point of view. Out of all the points of view you find, which is the right one? I am a rock. Hello. Hello, other rocks. My purpose in life is to stay in bed, nice and snug all the way to the grave. Good luck finding yours, and don't copy me. I can ascend. I'm a mushroom. Come on, let's go. I'm Clover. Whoa. I'm an island. And this is my song. Hello? I'm a planet? I'm the Earth. Mesoplanet. What is that? What is it? What there is.
I find it a little difficult to say what the subject matter of this seminar is going to be, because it's too fundamental to give it a title. I'm going to talk about what there is. Now, the first thing, though, that we have to do is to get our perspectives with some background about the basic ideas which influence our everyday common sense, our fundamental notions about what life is about. Ideas of the world which are built into the very nature of the language we use, and of our ideas of logic and of what makes sense altogether. And these basic ideas I call myth, not using the word myth to mean simply something untrue, but to use the word myth in a more powerful sense. A myth is an image. in terms of which we try to make sense of the world.
I'm gonna keep going down. I'm a flea? A tiny bug. A soil mite. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm DNA? Oh my god, I'm DNA. Oh my god. I can descend further into myself? Oh. I'm a sphere? Hello. A world that peoples.
You, as a human being, you grow out of this physical universe in just exactly the same way that an apple grows off an apple tree. So let's say the tree which grows apples is a tree which apples, using apple as a verb. And a world in which human beings arrive is a world that peoples. And so the existence of people is symptomatic of the kind of universe we live in. Just as hair on a head is symptomatic of what's going on in the organism. But we have been brought up not to feel that we belong in the world. So our popular speech reflects it. We say, I came into this world. You didn't, you came out of it. We say, face facts. We talk about encounters with reality, as if it was a head-on meeting of completely alien agencies, and the average person has the sensation that he is a somewhat that exists inside a bag of skin, the center of consciousness, which looks out at this thing, and what the hell's it gonna do to me? I recognize you, you kind of look like me, and I've seen myself in a mirror, and you look like you might be people. So maybe you're intelligent, maybe you can love too. And perhaps you're all right. Some of you are anyway. You've got the right color of skin, or you have the right religion, or whatever it is, you're okay. But there are all those people over in Asia, Africa, and they may not really be people. When you want to destroy someone, you always define them as unpeople.
hear you. Tell me, what do we need to know this year? Symmetry, symmetry. What about you? Seeing, 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 seeing. Everything, nothing, everything, nothing, everything, nothing. Is this who I really am? This is what I look like on the inside, isn't it? Down further? What are you? Pattern, return, pattern, return. Everything sings. Another idea altogether.
We have this hostility to the external world because of the superstition, the myth, the absolutely unfounded theory that you yourself exist only inside your skin. Now, I want to propose another idea altogether. Billions of years ago, you were a big bang. But now you're a complicated human being. But so we define ourselves as being only that. If you think that you are only inside your skin, you define yourself as one very complicated little curlicue, way out on the edge of that explosion, way out in space and way out in time.
Yes, way out in time.
And then we cut ourselves off and don't feel that we're still the Big Bang. But you are.
We are.
Depends how you define yourself. You are actually, if this is the way things started, if there was a Big Bang in the beginning, you're not something that is a result of the Big Bang. You're not something that is a sort of puppet on the end of the process. You are still the process.
I am still the process.
You are the Big Bang, the original force of the universe coming on as whoever you are. See, when I meet you, I see not just what you define yourself as, Mr. So-and-so, Miss So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so. I see every one of you as the primordial energy of the universe coming on at me in this particular way. I know I'm that too. But we've learned to define ourselves as separate from it.
We're not separate from it. We could never be. This is who we are. Everything all at once. Peeking out through different holes. Through different eyes. Through different programs. It is sit, 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 sit. Let's go. Let's keep going. Oh. What am I? I'm a superstar cluster. And I can see everyone else, too. This is all us out there. All us singing our song, floating, flying. Hello. Don't think about numbers, think about proportion. Life mostly involves going out and entangling yourself with others. But I want to show you another way of getting mixed up. A very beautiful thing you can do, and that's dancing. To dance is to move in a pattern and not towards anywhere in particular. To make yourself the destination and to enjoy never quite arriving. Dancing always takes two, but the more the merrier. Everything dances a little differently, so try doing it with different things. I need to find another star cluster. You guys are star clusters. Let's dance. And we're born. The stars dance above us. The planets dance in their own way. Nature dances with her creatures. And we dance with her. All of our dancing has ever only been the dancing of the stars. The dancing of all of it. So when you feel that urge to dance, however you do it, whatever way you express, you have always been whole. You have always been her. The whole universe dancing. No such things as things.
What I would call a kind of a basic problem we've got to go through first is to understand that there are no such things as things. That is to say, separate things. That is only a way of talking. If you can understand this, you're going to have no further problems. I once asked a group of high school children, what do you mean by a thing? And first of all, they gave me all sorts of synonyms. They said it's an object, which is simply another word for a thing. It doesn't tell you anything about what you mean by a thing. Finally, a very smart girl who was in the group said a thing is a noun. And she was quite right. A noun isn't a part of nature, it's a part of speech. There are no nouns in the physical world. There are no separate things in the physical world either. See, the physical world is wiggling. The clouds, mountains, trees, people are all wiggling. And only when human beings get working at things, they build buildings in straight lines and try and make out that the world isn't really wiggly. But here are we sitting in this room, all built on straight lines, but each one of us is as wiggly as all get out.
Wiggly. We're all wiggly. We're all dancing. I hear you. I hear you. This is how we talk. We're all just singing. We all want to be heard. We trap ourselves, don't we? We trap ourselves thinking that we are alone. Ultimately, the rules that we make up to run our societies have crushed us and made us feel alone, made us unable to connect with each other. But we've always been dancing with ourselves, so how could we ever be alone? It can't be true. Think about all the weird things that have happened. You think about someone and they call you, or you run into them. A number or a song, a poem, something follows you, it stalks you, it's like it is going where you are going. It's all you, it's all always you, because you are the one making the map. You are the one dancing with yourself. So what happens? What happens when we get in sync with ourselves? What happens when we stop fighting it? What happens when we let ourselves be who we are? What happens when we sing together? What happens when we just let ourselves float with it? Getting hold of the wiggly world.
Now then, when you want to get control of something that wiggles, it's pretty difficult, isn't it? You try and pick up a fish in your hands, and the fish is wiggly and it slips out. What do you do to get hold of the fish? You use a net. And so the net is the basic thing we have for getting hold of the wiggly world. A net is something regular. And I can number the holes in a net. So many holes up, so many holes across. And if I can number these holes, I can count exactly where each wiggle is in terms of a hole in that net. But in order to do that, I've got to break up the wiggle into bits. And I've got to call this a specific bit, and this the next bit of the wiggle, and this the next bit, and this the next bit of the wiggle. And so these bits are things which I mark out in order to talk about the wiggle, in order to measure it, and therefore in order to control it. But in nature, in fact, in the physical world, the wiggle isn't bitted. So the world doesn't come thing. You and I are all as much continuous with the physical universe as a wave is continuous with the ocean. The ocean waves, and the universe peoples. And as the wave, I wave at you and say, you. The world is waving at me with you and saying, hi, I'm here.
Hi, I'm here.
But the way we feel and sense our existence, being based on a myth that we are made, that we are parts, that we are things, our consciousness has been influenced so that each one of us does not feel that. We feel we have been hypnotized, literally hypnotized, by social convention into feeling and sensing that we exist only inside our skins. That we are not the original bang, but just something out on the end of it. And therefore we are scared stiff. Gosh, my wave is going to disappear. And I'm going to die. And that would be awful.
My wave is going to disappear. Sure, I didn't get to choose my parents, but I can choose what kind of child I'll be to them. And I choose to be completely absent. So, we have boxed ourselves in by marking processes, including ourselves, as static, inchangeable things when really we are a river of information and exchange continuously happening. And we are the witnessing awareness of this process. Yet we cannot seem to remember. Thoughts are the friction between things and other things. Thoughts would never exist if everything thought it was the same thing. As you go around listening to things, their thoughts will make impressions on your mind. When you go out and experience life, you will have your own thoughts, and they will reflect the things you've listened to and absorbed. Give thinking a go. Just try not to take it too seriously. Theory worth betting on.
You are a fluke. You are a separate event. And you run from the maternity ward to the crematorium, and that's it, baby. Now, why does anybody think that way? There's no reason to, because it isn't even scientific. It's just a myth. And it's invented by people who wanted to feel a certain way. They want to play a certain game. Camus said there is only really one serious philosophical question, which is whether or not should you or not. This is a good question. Why go on? And you only go on if the game is worth the candle. Now, the universe has been going on for an incredible long time. And so really, a satisfactory theory of the universe has to be one that's worth betting on. Seems to me, absolutely elementary common sense. If you make a theory of the universe which isn't worth betting on, why bother? Just. But if you want to go on playing the game, you've got to have an optimal theory for playing the game.
That was intense. Just breathe. I know what it's like to feel so lost, to ask every day, why was I born? Why was I born? If no one will let me be me, then why was I born? If I was born only to suffer, then why am I here? But that's not true. It's never true that you're born to suffer. You don't deserve to hurt. Listen, the person you were, the being, the awareness you were when you were a small child, before you were hurt, before you were conditioned, before you were told no, you have to be this way, before you were bullied, before whatever it was that stifled you, that smothered you, that made you feel wrong to be yourself. The real you, that pure you. I mean, you are always you. You are an ongoing you. And you will keep changing and discovering new things about yourself. And most of all, you will keep healing. It's a process. I try to make a habit of asking myself, my child self, my inner child, what would make you happy today? And I just listen. And I try to give that little kid everything she needs. To shine, to sing, to be comfortable, to feel safe. Symptomatic of the scheme of things.
If there is any such thing at all as intelligence and love and beauty, well, you found it in other people. In other words, it exists in us as human beings. And as I said, if it is there in us, it is symptomatic of the scheme of things. We are as symptomatic of the scheme of things as the apples are symptomatic of the apple tree or the rose of the rose bush. The earth is not a big rock infested with living organisms, any more than your skeleton is bones infested with cells. The earth is geological, yes, but this geological entity grows people. And our existence on the earth is a symptom of the solar system and its balances, as much as the solar system in turn is a symptom of our galaxy. And our galaxy in its turn is a symptom of the whole company of galaxies. Goodness only knows what that's in.
Long before diffuse nebulas were around, far back through time, all others were the same thing, a something that spread into every other everywhere. A something all others still share here and now. You may find you aren't just diffuse nebula, but every other in existence. An expression of this great pattern known as others. Everything secretly knows this, and you know it too. Tetraclap. Whoa. That it matters, that it doesn't matter, that it matters, that it doesn't matter. Something, no thing, something, no thing. One system of behavior.
When, as a scientist, you describe the behavior of a living organism, you try to say what a person does. It's the only way in which you can describe what a person is. Describe what they do. Then you find out that in making this description, you cannot confine yourself to what happens inside the skin. In other words, you can't talk about a person walking unless you start describing the floor. Because when I walk, I don't just dangle my legs in empty space. I move in relationship to a room. And so in order to describe what I'm doing when I'm walking, I have to describe the room. I have to describe the territory. So in describing my talking at the moment, I can't describe this just as a thing in itself, because I'm talking to you. And so what I'm doing at the moment is not completely described unless your being here is described also. So if that is necessary, if, in other words, in order to describe my behavior, I have to describe your behavior and the behavior of the environment, it means that we've really got one system of behavior. That what I am involves what you are. I don't know who I am unless I know who you are. And you don't know who you are unless you know who I am. In other words, we're not separate. We define each other. We're all backs and fronts to each other. We and our environment, and all of us and each other, are interdependent systems. We know who we are in terms of other people. We all lock together. And this is, again and again, the serious scientific description of how things happen. And any good scientist knows that what you call the external world is as much you as your own body.
Nothing thing, nothing thing. A whirlpool in water.
Your skin doesn't separate you from the world. It's a bridge through which the external world flows into you, and you flow into it. Just, for example, as a whirlpool in water, you could say because you have a skin, you have a definite shape, you have a definite form. The whirlpool is a definite form, but no water stays put in it. The whirlpool is something the stream is doing. And exactly the same way, the whole universe is doing each one of us. And I see you today, and I recognize you tomorrow, just as I would recognize a whirlpool in a stream. I'd say, oh yes, I've seen that whirlpool before. It's just near so-and-so's house on the edge of the river, and it's always there. So in the same way, when I meet you tomorrow, I recognize you, you're the same whirlpool you were yesterday. But you're moving. The whole world is moving through you. All the cosmic rays, all the food you're eating, the stream of steaks and milk and eggs and everything is just flowing right through you. When you're wiggling the same way, the world is wiggling, the stream is wiggling you. But the problem is, you see, we haven't been taught to feel that way. The myths underlying our culture and underlying our common sense have not taught us to feel identical with the universe, but only parts of it, only in it, only confronting it, aliens. And we are, I think, quite urgently in need of coming to feel that we are the eternal universe, each one of us. Otherwise, we're going to go out of our heads. We're going to, collectively, courtesy of H-bombs. And, all right, supposing we do, well, that will be that, and it'll be life making experiments on other galaxies. Maybe they'll find a better game.
As humans, we need to stop making up things that only hurt us. Most of our restrictions are social, and they ruin us. Can't do this, you have to dress like that, you have to look like this, you have to sound like this, you must be this way, you have to blah, It's just not healthy, and we need to start living, because that's what's killing us. We hate ourselves so much because we can't be who we are, and we externalize that pain. Not all of us. See, there are those of us who are aware of how we do that, and we work really hard to fix that shit and heal and not, let it be anyone else's problem. But then there are men in this world who just want everyone to suffer because they don't know how to suffer. We've made human life so painful, and for what? To line someone else's pockets? Fuck that. As you experience all of the universe's things, each thing also experiences you. Things leave their mark on you as you leave your mark on things, and somewhere inside you is an impression of everything you've ever been. A great memory of things you can revisit anytime, and feel what it's like to be them again. You are always free to transform yourself into anything. Transform into anything you've already been? Can I just Oh my god. Things that happen to us.
I wonder if it's ever struck you how curious a thing it is that most of the things that we experience, we regard as things that happen to us, which we ourselves do not originate, which are events expressing some sort of power or activity that is external to ourselves. And if you consider that, you realize that what you mean by yourself is rather narrowly circumscribed. Even events that go on in our own bodies are put in the category of things that happen to us in the same way as things that go on in the world outside our skins. If there's a thunderstorm or an earthquake, well, it happens to you. You're not responsible for it. But so in the same way, when you have hiccups, you didn't plan on it. If you have belly rumbles, you had no intention of doing it. And as to the catastrophic act of getting born, well, you had nothing to do with that. And you can spend all your life blaming your parents for putting you in the situation in which you find yourself. And this way of looking at the world in this sort of passive mood as something that happens to you goes right down to our general feeling about life. It goes down to the way in which we have been accustomed to look at human existence as a precarious event in a cosmos that, on the whole, is depicted as being completely unsympathetic and alien to our existence.
Alien planet. Wait, I'm in space. I can transform. Matters that it matters that. The joy of the universe is to reveal itself to itself in different forms. Not really part of all of this.
If you're reared with a 20th century, or shall we say an early 20th century common sense, which is based on the philosophy of science of the 19th century, you regard yourself as an accident, a biological accident, in a stupid universe, which is mechanical, but has no feelings. A vast, pointless gyration of radioactive rocks and gas in which you happen to occur. Of course, if you don't have that point of view and you are more traditional, you look upon yourself as a child of God. And therefore, under authority. In other words, there's a big boss on top of all this. And you better watch your P's and Q's, because that Almighty is looking after you, with the attitude of this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. And when you look at the world in that image, or in the other image that it's a stupid mechanism, either point of view you take, you don't really belong. You are not really part of all this. Or to put it in the strongest possible way, it is quite alien to our thought that the external world, which is defined as something that happens to you, and your body itself as something that you got caught up with, it is quite alien to consider all that as you yourself. Because you see, we have such a myopic view of what one's self is.
Hi 2021, I was wondering where you'd got to. By now you've been able to see a lot here, but not everything. When you first arrived here, there was a golden object in front of you. Do you remember it? It might feel distant now, but it's still there. This is a gate made by things who weren't able to see how you see. Many things entered it, but weren't able to come back out, so we kept it locked. I'm going to open it for you, but it's up to you if you want to enter. Good luck and take care. Return to where you began. You can now descend into the Golden Gate. Change your level of magnification.
Now, we come here to an extremely important principle, which is the different points of view you get when you change your level of magnification. That is to say, you can look at something with a microscope and see it a certain way. You can look at it with the naked eye and see it in a certain way. You look at it with a telescope and you see it in another way. Now, which level of magnification is the correct one? Well, obviously, they're all correct. They're just different points of view. When we examine our bloodstreams under a microscope, we see there's one hell of a fight going on. All sorts of microorganisms are chewing each other up. And if we got overly fascinated with our view of our own bloodstreams in the microscope, we should start taking sides, which would be fatal, because the health of our organism depends on the continuance of this battle. What is, in other words, conflict at one level of magnification is harmony at a higher level. Now, could it possibly be, therefore, that we, with all our problems, conflicts, neuroses, sicknesses, political outrages, wars, tortures, and everything that goes on in human life, are a state of conflict, which can be seen in a larger perspective as a situation of harmony?
Wow. Oh my God. I finally caught up. Oh. Autobots, roll out! Oh my God, they had a baby. Nature is so beautiful. God. I'm all the buildings.
And you could say, aha, at last, I see, I got the point. I've seen how all this makes sense. But what this insight depended upon was your overcoming the illusion that space separates things. That is to say, the space, the interval between your body and mine. The interval created by birth at one end and death at the other. And then after somebody's death, then somebody else's birth. These are events with intervals between them. And normally we regard these intervals in time and these intervals in space as having no importance, no function. We tend to see the universe itself as really consisting in all the stars and galaxies. That's what it is, that's what we notice. But the space in which all this happens is sort of written off as something that isn't really there. But what one has to realize is that the space is an essential function of the things in the space. After all, you can't have separate stars unless there is a space around. Eliminate the space and you will see you couldn't have this phenomenon at all. And vice versa. You couldn't have the space. They wouldn't be there in any sense whatsoever if there weren't the bodies in it. So the bodies in the space and the space are two aspects of a single continuum. They're related together in exactly the same way as a back and a front. And you just don't get one without the other.
We are each a piece, tangled forever. We are each a piece. We are each a piece of it. A vital, important, beautiful piece that you put there.
So the moment you see that intervals, that space is connective, you can understand at once how you are not just to be exclusively defined as a flash of consciousness that occurs between two eternal darknesses. That you consider that in the darkness that comes before your birth, there was no you, and in the eternal darkness that follows your death, there is likewise no you. And I'm going to discuss these matters not by appealing to any special spooky knowledge, as if I had been traveling on the higher planes and knew all my previous incarnations and therefore could tell you authoritatively that you are much more than this individuality. I'm going to do it on a basis of complete common sense, that everybody has access to the facts. Life is a pattern of immense complexity. And what you call yourself as a living organism, say, I am my whole body at the very least. Now, what is that body? That body is recognizable, and I recognize my friends when I meet them again, and you recognize me. Although the last time any of you saw me, I was absolutely something entirely different from what I am now. Just as the flame of a candle is never a constant. The flame of a candle is a stream of hot gas. Only you say the flame of the candle as if it were a constant. Well, it is a recognizably constant pattern. But in exactly the same way, we are all constant patterns. And that's all we are. The only thing constant about us at all is the doing rather than the being. It's the way we behave, the way we dance. Only there's no we that dances. There's just the dancing. There is no thing that whirlpools. There is the whirlpool. And in the same way, each one of us is a very, very delightfully complex undulation of the energy of the whole universe. Because life is basically a game of hide and seek. Because life is pulsation. On and off. Here it is, and now it isn't. And by being this pulsation, we know it's there. Now, from those very tiny fast rhythms, which give us the impression of continuity, there are also in this universe immensely slow rhythms. And these are very difficult for us to keep track of. And they impress us and depress us as our own life and death, as our coming and going, which goes for what is to us such a slow pace, that we can't possibly believe that it is really a rhythm. We think of it as our birth, as something quite unique that could never occur again because we're so close to it, you see, and it's moving so slowly.
You are, each of you, the entire ocean. Please never forget that, holograms. Thank you for watching.